Hello viewers, welcome to Janshakti Network. The government of our country and states is committed to the constitution to meet the healthy life and food needs of the people. The right to work is a fundamental human right. The desire to work after completing education is the basic psychological need of the young generation. If there is no means of employment in our state, West Bengal, or if the government does not create job opportunities, the generation will naturally lose interest in education as a prerequisite for work. The ever increasing dropout rate, child marriage, and child labor in our state are indicative of that. In West Bengal, the numerous vacancies in the education sector from recruitment corruption are bringing the natural death of the government education system. It seems that the government is committed to creating a market for the private sector. In the absence of the ability to pull off a few more years of education, the youth of the state are running away from class 10 in some or the other states of South India in search of work. They are the cheapest unskilled workers in the job market. This cheap labor force has no bargaining power in the unemployment market. The number of laborers employed is increasing every day. The uncertainty of work, the lack of social security, the desire for a better life at the expense of low wages are turning into frustration. But the economy of the state is largely dependent on the amount of money sent by these migrant workers. The government of this country and the state government have virtually closed the way to invest in the production process. On the other hand, investment in services and finance has increased. In fact, the profit in services and finance is many times higher than in manufacturing. Therefore, work is underway to build a flyover on the road of profit by narrowing the way to create employment. Permanent job addresses are drying up the manufacturing industry and turning the whole country into a bustling market for low paid, contractual, temporary jobs in the service sector. There are many youths working around us in this state, but they are unable to find a better job despite being far more qualified than that job requires. According to the ILO, the unemployment rate among the country's undergraduate students is almost 9 times higher than the unemployment rate among children who are deprived of primary education. Where does the government get its money from? According to the budget survey of 2024 to 25, income tax is at the top of the list where the money comes from. Income tax is the biggest source of revenue for the government. In the last 2 financial years, personal income tax has overtaken corporate tax collections. According to Oxfam study, 2/3 of the total GST collection in 2021 and 22 came from the poorest 50% of India's population. Worryingly, the richest 10% of the country's population gets only 3% GST. Corporate tax relief was announced in September 2019. On the other hand, not only direct taxes but also indirect taxes are being imposed on the working people and small businessmen. So, in today's India, the entire responsibility of reaching the tax target has come on the poor working people and the middle class. Those working people who do not have work, and even if there is work, the salary has not increased for many years. As a result, India ranks 111th in the Global Hunger Index. If employment generation is taken into account, the picture is even more bleak. Of the total number of unemployed people in the country, the rate of educated unemployed was 54.2% in 2000. This rate has further increased to 65.7% in 2022. Worryingly, there has been no significant increase in real wages in India since 2014. According to the Economic Survey report, the rate of profit of corporate capital in our country is the highest in the last 15 years, and the real wages of our workers are still lower than before the pandemic. Although the unemployment rate has fallen compared to last year, the real income of about a quarter of working people has fallen. This situation has been exacerbated by food inflation. The money that millions of migrants are sending every month to feed their families, that money is constantly circulating in the market of this state. A large part of that money goes to the government, but the government has no responsibility. Therefore, instead of creating job opportunities in the state, emphasis is being laid on creating migrant workers. To reduce the fiscal deficit, the government has spent much less than the money allocated to various sectors in last year's budget. In the education sector, rupees 11,584 crores has been spent less than the budget allocation. In the food budget, rupees 7,830 crore has been cut. In the health sector, rupees 1,255 crore and above all, rupees 7,533 crore has been spent less than the allocation for rural development. 90,642 crore has been spent less than the allocation in various central schemes, while the main goal of the government should have been to increase the purchasing power of the common people and employment instead of controlling the fiscal deficit. Corporate capitalists are also making huge profits due to lack of demand in the market, but they are not being encouraged to invest. They are making huge profits by investing in the financial sector instead of investing in expanding their surplus production capacity. A delivery partner of Zomato, Swiggy, Zepto, or a helping hand in a luxury shopping mall limits the Indian youth's dream. The dream of becoming a doctor, engineer, teacher, management worker is being fulfilled in the driving seat of Rapido, Uber, Ola. Although higher education is somehow financed, the main goal of white-collar migrant workers is to pay off education loans quickly. This is the government's plan to make way for one private insurance or loan scheme after another by reducing spending on education or work. Therefore, the huge unemployed army formed in our state, West Bengal, is wandering like a misguided person in every corner of the state, capitalizing on the frustration and helplessness. Allegedly, the ruling Trinamool Congress is preparing its huge lumpen army every day by exploiting a section of this force. They are running the entire smuggling racket from the syndicate Raj. In exchange for a small amount of money, they are getting involved with the government-sponsored crime syndicate. Sometimes a little more money is greedy in the group of fundamentalist rioters in the country. Most of the money in the state government treasury comes from excise. If this huge unemployed army is not put in the dark, then that money may also be in short supply. So there is no work either by the state or central government. The government is responsible for giving work address to these human resources by the constitution. So it is easy to understand. Repeatedly attacking the constitution and judiciary by the government to escape from this place of responsibility. You can't escape. It is the government's job to provide employment. Otherwise, people will look for alternatives. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to stay updated with the latest incidents. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update. We will see you next time with more news that matters. Stay informed, stay safe.